Live, and we are live.
Right.
I feel kind of fine standing next to you. I do right. Would you tell me the truth? Stay with me and love me through the night. Endlessly, I'ma keep on all my chains when I'm making love to you. Hold me close and let me squeeze you tight through the night. Baby girl, how do I look you my do right? Would you tell me the truth? Do you like me do it? Watch me go zoom, zoom. Baby girl, how do I look you my do right? Would you tell me the truth? Stay with me and I love you through the night. Endlessly, I just wanna know how you feel. Tell me if I'm doing it right. I may be covered in hair, but I still smell good. Baby, let me know how to ride like in my new ride. Don't lie to me, let me rock you all night long. I'm trying to impress you, girl. Let me know how do I look in my new ride. I'm trying to get intimate. Let me love you like you never been before, baby. You have to like my games, my comic list. Baby girl, I look in my new ride. Did I tell you right? Did you hear that rest? Just for me. Cause I'm trying to smash. Baby girl, I'm smashing my new ride. Cause it's only right. Do you like the way my eyes drift in the light? Baby girl, do you like me in my new ride? Let me know. Would you let me know? Let me know. Let's make love till we fall asleep. I like the way you feel back to me. Baby, you look so good in this moonlight. Stay with me and love me through the night. Baby, let's make love till we fall asleep.
Happy Thursday, family. Thank you for joining us yet again for another week for Last of the Millennials. We are probably right. I know I said that correctly. Farrelly, how's your week been?
Tomorrow's my last day before vacation, so I am pressing my way. How about you?
I gotta keep pressing because ain't no last day. I don't get off with the collegiate people. I am still on, but I do have a break coming up soon that I cannot wait for. But it's followed by me returning to the office. So I'm not even excited about that at all.
Well, you just got to change your mindset. I've been back in the office, so it's not too bad. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I guess. So, guys, thank you again for joining us. As always, we try to come with the most pertinent information to have to strike conversation between us and you guys. So, if at any time that you would like to join us in conversation or you want to share some thoughts, do not hesitate to drop some comments in the chat. Or are we still allowing them to join us?
Yeah, sure.
Or there is a link. Furley's going to share a link, and you can click on that link, and you can join us and jump on this screen at any time. So while he's sharing that, the song that you just heard, which was the song of the week, is it called Dragon Ball Durag
Yeah,
by Thundercat. So it just gives me like if I was a smoker, then I would smoke a little bit.
yeah.
So Nate, come join us, Natel. Join that link and join us. So what I want to talk about first. Okay, first, wait a minute. Before we even get into our topics, Furley, have you been seeing these NBC specials that have been happening, like with Annie, Different Strokes,
Live versions.
Back to Life? Yes.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
So I got caught up watching Different Strokes and Facts of Life last night.
Okay.
And Different Strokes, which had Damon Wayans, Kevin Hart, Snoop Dogg, and I don't remember the other people, but it was actually pretty good. Like I was like falling asleep, but it was funny, and I wish I wasn't tired when I watched it. But it's on NBC, and who was the guy? Is it Kimball?
I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about now. But
The person that's created it, he's one of these he's one of the late night hosts.
he created it. I thought it was the show. They brought the show creators back. I thought.
They did, but he's like,
I don't
his
know.
name is on it.
Okay.
But whatever, if you haven't watched it, I think they did Annie too, which had Taraji. And I'm not sure, I didn't watch that one. But if you haven't, these are our cinematic features of the week. So please check those out. I thought it was really good, the two that I watched. I thought it was funny, especially because I never watched those shows. That was a little bit before my real time.
Oh.
So
Mm.
oh bitch, we the same age. Don't do that. We are the same age, like literally, what, 2.5 weeks apart. Don't do that.
We are not the same.
Okay, so let's jump into it. Um, we're gonna go ahead and start heavy. So my question is, Fro's gonna play a video, and is your independence for the women? Is your independence keeping you single?
Shorty so the point of me making this live was basically I realized today that I have nothing to offer a man. Nothing. And I feel like it took, number one, it took me 2 years to realize it because I just found that out today. So I was today years old when I realized it. And then it took me a lot of pride swallowing to be able to admit it. I'm going to tell you why I feel the way I feel. This is not based off anyone else. This is only based off myself. But I just wanted to share it just in case it may help somebody else. I feel like I don't have anything to offer to a man because a man asked me what I had to offer him. And it was the way he asked that made me realize that I don't. He simply stated, I realize that you're single, but tell me what would I benefit from having you as my woman? Now, outside of the basics, like, oh, I look nice, I can cook, I work, I didn't have nothing else to offer. And the reason I realized that I didn't is because I got to thinking about myself. And all I've been doing for so many years is just working and taking care of kids. I don't know necessarily what I'm into. So there goes hobbies. I'm not necessarily sure my feminine level of energy because majority of my relationships, I wore the pants. So how can you, as a woman, offer to be a woman to a man if you've never fully been a woman? I am a woman because I'm a female, but I'm talking about like actually be a woman, like to a man. I've never experienced that, so I don't know what that feels like. So I can't honestly say that I have anything to offer as far as a woman outside of just being a woman. So that means all I really do have to offer is some pussy because I'm a woman and we have one. That's really not enough. I can't honestly say I can offer you a nurturing environment because I'm too frustrated about the children that I have and the lack of help that I have with them. So it's like I can't necessarily be so nurturing to you when I'm frustrated at the amount of nurturing that I'm already doing. So therefore, I know I can't offer you that. I can offer cooking for you, but then to me, it comes at a price because if you're coming and you're sitting and you're eating my food and you're not providing any of it, I'm a feel away. So now I'm offering you bitterness. That's not anything a man wants. Why would you want a bitter female? Well, I'm bitter because of my own merits. So it's not your job to fix the bitterness. It's my job to fix. As much as I want a man to come to me ready, able to provide, work, and handle himself, I think that me as a female, I need to have my emotions in check because if a man wants peace, I don't have any because I'm frustrated. I'm bitter, I'm emotional, I'm upset. So I made this video because today I realized that I don't have anything to offer a man outside of good looks. And I learned that I don't want a man for just his looks. So how can I be so selfish and and only offer a bare minimum and expect so much. That is some unfair shit. Now, I don't know about all these other females. Other females may not agree or even feel the way I feel.
Okay.
What's that for really?
It's a lot there. One, so there's always controversy about men asking a woman, what does she bring to the table? Particularly depending on the kind of woman that you are.
Right.
And so if you're asking a traditional woman, what do you bring to the table? If her desire is to make a home, then that's what she brings to the table. She raise your kids, she makes sure that the house is maintained and da 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 da. But if you're looking for one of these new age girls who just want a sugar daddy, I think the question is valid unless he looking to be a sugar daddy. So, but it still kind of bothers me. I'm so traditional. Like, what is a woman? What do you bring to the table? And the fact she's admitting that she don't have nothing, just because of how she's been conditioned.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to a relationship, right? We always talk about how you marry not for love, but for a business to build up something, to make something grow together. So if you don't even have no skill set, all you can do is take care of kids and you upset about that, you don't even have a space for us to grow if I'm somebody who wants to build and do something. So I think it's a revelation. I don't know how women, this is my first time seeing this clip. So I don't know, like, what are women saying? Like,
so, as I think one of the comments were up there, we're saying like this is true accountability. So I think one of the things we naturally do is we always default and say, well, what is the man offering? But that's not the focus in this conversation. It's more so about self. And so what she's saying is that the way that he phrased the question was, what would I benefit from having you a part of my life? So that's when it caused her to self-reflect and even recognize that she doesn't even know how to operate in her natural femininity. Like she's never been allowed to because of one, maybe how she was raised, but even in the relationships that she's been in, she's had to operate in the masculine and not truly be a woman. So she doesn't even, by her own admission, know how to present as a feminine woman to a man. And then, a lot of the things that she was saying is a lot of things that single women, especially single women with children, don't like to admit. I can't even offer you peace because I am frustrated about my own situation. I am having to nurture these children that I had pre you, that I cannot even pour anything into you, because by the time you come around, I'm wiped out. And then when you do come in here and you might legitimately want to be a part of my situation, if you're not moving in a certain way that I think you should be moving because of my situation, I'm gonna feel some type of way.
Yeah. It's a lot. This could be a whole series just because just so much to unpack. She was going so fast.
Right.
But the guy, I think his thing says, this is the reality for a lot of women, unfortunately. My content is intended to help women reach this level of self-awareness in regards to the men they want to marry and have children with. Because that's the only point when a woman will actually start to make the changes needed to see a difference in her dating experiences. Now I don't know this guy, Terry Duran, or his angle or motivation, like why hopefully somebody's doing this for men. Like it takes two self-aware people to be in a relationship. Right. And beyond, and I think what somebody has to offer differs based on who you're talking to and what those goals look like.
And I'm glad you talked about that, because that leads to the next video because on the other side of that, we have women who are educated, bosses, they have careers, and they still want what they consider their equal or better. And I keep hearing that these men that would be considered their equal or better, they're not looking for their equal or better. They're not looking for that. That's not important to them. And that's what this next video is about.
They should want. I think the reason men don't value education and money in women is because women who tend to be educated and have money, they tend to be have that independent attitude. You feel me? Like, so that's why I feel like men don't care about that no more. So they'll take somebody that's less educated, less money, because
I feel like you shouldn't want that though. You should want somebody.
Yeah,
that
you can't tell.
really
You can't
got
tell men what they should want. I think the reason men don't value.
So I know that for you, and it's all relative to the person, because you know, I know a couple where, you know, or even this week, one of my friends made a post based off a conversation that she was having with a male friend, that all he really wanted, he didn't care about her education, her ambition. He didn't care about any of that. He didn't care how many degrees she had, how much money she made, because what he needed her to bring to the table was someone who was willing to really take care of home and support his vision while being a taken care of woman. And when the time came for them to have children, for those things to only be her focus. So a career driven independent woman was not going to fit what he was looking for. And he is, you know, I guess in the world of being public speaker or being on social media, very well paid, very well known. And so to a boss woman, she would think that that was her match. To him, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want someone driven. He doesn't want someone with a career or not willing to give it up. He wants something different. So, but the tone in both videos was going back to, you know, like she said, masculine. She wasn't allowed to be feminine because she had to focus on these things. And then a lot of times as women, we get, which you should absolutely go for whatever you want. I'm not in no way saying you shouldn't, but for the purpose of this conversation, that's not always attractive to what we're looking for. So being accountable and aware is more than just your own awareness, but being aware about the type of people you're looking for and what they tend to want and need. And I think that's what matters when we talk about what do you bring to the table. It's more so about the house that the table is in, because that house might need eggs, but this house over here only needs water. But if you're saying this is what I bring, that's not what I need. So were you gonna say something?
I just think it's both sided. Is how I'm gonna say, right? Because we know that women are educated at a much higher rate than men are in the Black community.
Yes.
And so 3 or 4 times more likely to find a woman who's educated, who has been able to hold it down for their own, or even if they're not educated, has out here made a path for themselves. And that's an opportunity for men, right, who are looking to come up. And women will open themselves up to what we would consider a candidate who's not so great, because they just need a man in the house, right? And then you have the flip side where there's these high value men, as Kevin Samuels will say, who are looking for the trophy,
right,
or the person who they can take care of and be taken care of by them. And it's just what you depend on. But in my world, your ass gotta get a job. Your ass to be a job. Your ass to bring a check into this house. Why? Because little becomes much when you put it in the master's hand. And so
whoa, did we take it at church?
You know, I just gotta get people a little something, because my money is good, but your money plus my money, it's real good.
Yes.
You know,
always power numbers.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think guys who have this thing where, oh, you're a boss chick and you're independent. Well, yeah, because men have left their place in society or in the Black community, and it's caused women to have to take up space where you've left.
Yeah.
And because you can't even appreciate the strength that comes with a woman holding down their own, you feel intimidated and you feel devalued, but that's not her fault. You have work to do, because if you find a strong woman and your manhood cannot, not even control, but handle a woman and make her comfortable enough to go back into her femininity or find her feminine wiles, you may have a penis, but you may not be a man.
Right. Boop. Bing bong.
And there's that.
So I think so, I always gotta play devil's advocate here. So in the situation, let's say this is not a situation where he feels intimidated, but it's really just preference. Some people, while we like to act as if as a general, like we're beyond traditional societal norms, a lot of us still operate in that, or we play the fence on that, and we take a little bit of this but leave the rest of, like much like church people, take what applies and let the rest fly. So in those situations where there is a man or a woman who well, because we're talking about this from a different perspective, where he's not intimidated by a woman who is career driven, but for him, this is more of my preference. I prefer someone who wants to make my house a home, and that is, because that's what I saw my grandma do, or whatever, however he arrived there, that's his preference. And so him meeting a woman, because so it is very true what you said, right? Some women will have no issue bringing their femininity forward when they feel safe to do so, and they feel like, okay, I can take a step back. I don't have to take over this. Some women don't know how to do that. They're always operating on in masculine energy all the time. They don't know how to remove it. It doesn't matter who shows up or how they show up. They don't know how to do that. And that's the little self-work if they desire to do that. So with that, does that necessarily mean that he is not a man, or that he is intimidated when it comes down to just preference?
Well, the my comment is not directed at this person, but I will say, I'm gonna call a thing, like I did sweet Yama, okay? And I'm always I want to get to the root of this, right? Why, even for a man who prefers this, why do they truly prefer it? To me, it's about control, right? And if there's a woman, and let's say if it was you, right? You can't be controlled, right? But you know how to, like, there's certain things that you will accept and let the man do, and have his role in the house. But if a woman you ask somebody to give up their goals, ambition, and dreams to do this. Now, if a woman wants to do that and she's looking for the setup that you want to provide, then I think it's perfectly fine. But I think women too have responsibility. If a man is telling you what he wants, that's probably what he wants, and you should.
We don't listen a lot. So if he's, because when we say, well, he's asking you to, I don't think he's asking you to. He's letting you know that this is what I need, and then you have the choice to make. Like, this is not going to work for me, or I'm willing to do this. But 9 times out of 10, what we tend to do is we operate off of hope and go into it knowing what a thing is, and then trying to change the narrative to what we want it to be. And women do that a lot.
Exactly. So it's so many different layers and people's position and how this kind of happens, and so it could be really dicey. But to a man who may not have nothing, right? You don't have nothing. You asking somebody to give something up and be submissive and subordinate to you, and take care of the house. Then you got to really step up to do that. However, I think it's great when both of y'all bring tables, right? You're not just pulling up chairs. You both got tables or operating the house, right?
Yeah.
You bring the furniture, right? There's this complementary thing that happens, and it's really, I think, when we talk about our previous generations and how their marriages were set up. My grandmother never worked, 17 kids.
Yeah.
Never, well, let me say she never worked. She did work. She did do some housekeeping, but my grandfather provided for the family, right? And so
Yeah.
having a woman work outside of the house or having these goals or even being independent, it just brings me down to this thing again with people are whole people. People have these lives.
Right.
And when you come together, you're making a decision to live your lives together. Not out this becoming one thing is really scary to me because it's like, why would you want to be one? No,
Right.
we're two. Like, if I ever get married, that's not going to be in my wedding vows. We're not becoming two separate candles and becoming one candle. No, we two candles. We may get start off with two skinny candles and we'll light two fat candles, but we're not lighting no singular candle.
Right.
That's impossible.
So just to kind of pivot a little bit, because one of the things you said is about control. And a lot of relationships and the things we do, it is to maintain a certain level of control or ownership.
Yeah.
So earlier this week, I watched a video online. It was a catfish video. And imagine this, like if I'll go up to you and say, I think, your baby daddy is the one for me. That's my soulmate. We know 9 times out of 10, all hell is gonna break loose. So what essentially happened in this catfish episode was, woman A and woman B they became friends. They went to a party together one year, and woman B's child's father was at this party. He saw woman A for the first time. They never interacted. He created an account, a catfish account, and pursued this woman for 3 years. His child's mother friend pursued her for 3 years. So now they have developed feelings. He's in love with her. She's in love with this person she's never met. She does not know. So they reach out to catfish. So her friend, who was the mother, is going with her to go meet this person. They get to the place. It is her child's father. So as you can imagine, there's all hell. Woman A is now having conflicted feelings because she's fell in love with this man, but this is her friends, now her best friend's children's father. The baby mama is upset because apparently throughout these 3 years that he's been pursuing her friend secretly, he's also been interrupting every possible relationship that she has had, causing her to lose out on men because of the drama that he was creating. So not only is he now pursuing the friend and they're now in love, he is causing havoc in his ex's life because he doesn't want to see her happy with someone else. Now, aside from that second half, how many people do you think are walking around bypassing or not even open to, if you believe in your soulmate or your true love, you could possibly be missing someone because of this ownership that we have over people that we were previously in relationship with or had some type of relations or anything intimate with. Like we all say, it's girl code, it's boy code. I don't talk to I don't do this. But you could be passing up on your good thing because they used to talk to your friend.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Like, this is
sometime your next man or your next woman might be married or under somebody else.
So your soulmate is in a marriage.
Thank you for babysitting. And while I was getting myself together to be ready for him, like, well done, our good and faithful servant. We appreciate.
Thank you for holding him down.
I just think about Will Smith and Jada, right? That's my ongoing conversation, right? Because I just read that book.
Yes.
Before Will Smith was out of his marriage from Trey's mother, Cherie, him and Jada had fallen madly in love.
Yes.
And what if they had never took that chance?
Also, what if Tupac never died?
What if, right? Will Smith he was intimidated by Tupac. He never ever said a word to that man, right?
Yeah.
So, but all of that to say is that no matter, you got to shoot your shot. And yeah, you might call me trashy, sleazy, nasty, whatever. But sometimes it's like that. But you gotta, if a person is unhappy, right? There's some ethical things in being a slut, because basically you be a slut. How you need to handle these.
How should one handle sleeping with their friend's ex?
Well, if you happen to find yourself in the bed with your friend,
Not find yourself.
because they say it just happened. Yeah,
it just happened.
It just happened, right?
Just
So if you find yourself in the bed with your best friend's lover, y'all need to figure out what this is. Is this something we're gonna do on a down low that nobody has to know, or is this something that you need to figure out? Is this real? Do we need to break this news to friend?
Oh, that just feels so like okay.
Honest.
No, that does not feel honest. If you're sneaking to do it, and
no. So those two different options. You can either keep it a secret, or you are going to tell the friend. Not keep it a secret and tell the friend.
So okay. So do you think in this situation it would be best to in a very covert way find out if your friend at least still has lingering feelings?
What does that matter if we have feelings? If we want to be together,
I'm saying before you even get to the point of having feelings, like, because that's a progression. You just didn't see him and like, I'm in love. That's a progression of growth. So before you even get to that, do you even just say, girl, how you feel about XYZ? Are you over that? Because
what you mean? You mean they have broken up and then you get into a relationship with the ex?
I mean, it can happen at any time.
Well, I'm saying if you sleep with my man, right? You have already been plotting, right? So you finding yourself in bed with my man is not by happenstance.
Okay, so let me paint a clearer scenario, right? A clearer scenario, like let's say I'm with Albert, right? I'm with Albert. We are together 2-3 years, whatever. Me and Albert break up. But as my close friend, you know that Albert is very much still a part of my heart. Like, we don't talk anymore, but I still have feelings for him. He's gone on. I haven't seen him in quite some time, but whenever we have our chats, I'll be like, that was, if I could ever, I would. And so 2 years gone by, a year and a half, whatever time has gone by, you run into Albert at the store. Y'all start chit-chatting. He start DMing you or whatever. Now we're going somewhere.
It's your fault because you have told me how great Albert is.
Wow.
And you didn't do what you need to do to stay with the person that is so amazing. Oh. So
abort.
Hey Albert, what's good?
Oh, what's popping?
Because like that's why you don't be going in everybody. It's a shortage of men out here, right? It is so possible that you are going to see Albert and remember all the things that you said. Like, I don't know why she couldn't keep you, but let's get it together.
Right, red flag.
I'm just telling it like it is not ease, know, because you think about it. That is the narrative. Like, you done talked about either this man's member, how good of a man he is, but for whatever reason, you're not with him. So what are you supposed to do? Let this good man just die on the branch because you still in love with him? Well, why haven't you tried to get back with this man? Right? You talking about for 2 whole years, girl. You
encourage the friend to try before you jumped in the lake?
Before, yeah, I would tell. I was like, if you gonna stop talking to me about this man
because you acting like you want me to have him.
Period. I'm gonna say that to you. You know, Don't be mad if I pop up with Albert, okay? Because
Is
you're
you going
clearly
to
telling
wed?
me
Is you
how
going to wed it?
is you. You'll get an invite.
This is a real
Be happy for
story.
me.
This is
Be
a
happy
real
for me.
story that has happened to people we actually know. We'll talk about it offline.
Hey, you gotta go for the gusto. Do not let barriers stop you. If you can see it, if you can dream it, you can believe it, and you can have it. And that goes for a man or a woman, because if you're not treating Albert right, then somebody got to take care of Albert. You know, it's okay. And this happens all the time. I've been in college, and I done seen the same people go around the same friend circle, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And I think this whole girl code, guy code of you can't date my ex. Well, it's your ex. Somebody you used to date, you no longer date them. They didn't fit for
On
you.
to the
So
next.
I'm just supposed to say, oh, it's only 800 people in this town. And so I'm only open to these dating these people in this town, but I need to leave Albert alone. And I'm gonna miss Albert because you don't want Albert. Girl, get out of here. Get out of here.
Well, folks, there you have it.
Forget that.
Date your friends' exes. Pay attention when they be telling you these stories, because he might be the man for you
Just might.
or woman for you.
Don't
So
miss out on your blessing
get Albert or Alicia while the getting is good. Okay.
because your friend will get over it.
Okay, so moving quite along. So for this next story, it's kind of two tied. So now I've heard this before, a real life scenario. Do we believe that a bisexual person um can be faithful? And I don't know why that is a thing. So I'll give you the scenario. The real life scenario. So there was a man who was known to be gay, and he met a woman through work, who was very attracted to. Never been with a woman before, but he got into a relationship with her. So they're intimate. He wants to be with her. He's thinking about marrying her. The advice that he was given by one of his friends was leave her alone because you're going to step out eventually. You're going to want to be back with a man eventually. What do you think that's true? Like, so that's basically saying someone that is bisexual or that was solely gay or lesbian, and now they've discovered someone that they love that is the opposite sex. They have the inability to be with that person long term without, if that's the agreement, without going back to what they were.
That's just because people reduce relationships to sex.
Mm.
And when you reduce it to such a basic thing, of course, it's gonna be like, well, if you really like men's, and now you like women's, if you need to be, first of all, I believe you have to be honest.
Yes.
Right. That's my theory. Everybody doesn't believe in that, right? Because a lot of black women are not open to that. And we saw that on a Netflix special that went wrong. But because it's like if you sleep with a man and you a man, nigga, you gay.
Yeah.
That nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, that nigga gay. I mean, it's like if you in the black community, once you do something, it's no coming back.
Yeah.
Right. And so I probably would not even disclose that I dated men if I knew I had an interest in either having a family or Like that would be my life, right?
The woman that he's with, she knows.
So good, right? So those two things there at play. Now, the gays look at the bisexuals as confused or greedy. Like we choose ye this day is what we saying, right?
So that is so strange. So they getting it hard from both sides because the straights feel like that too. You confused.
Yeah. And because we don't identify, right? So being bisexual is no different than being transgender. I don't know what it feels like to be a transgender person. I don't know what it's like to be bisexual. I can't identify. So they're in the middle of a spectrum where they have the ability to love or be attracted to same gender. opposite gender. And
Yeah.
I can't process that. And so for the straight and the gay who only deals with one type of person, they look at that person as the bisexual is that you could potentially want something that I cannot provide you. And I
Right.
don't think that's true, because this is a family show. But anyway, you can get what you need. And I think because
Catalog, a link. Go ahead.
when you reduce the relationships down to sex, this is the kind of rhetoric that you're going to get. And thirdly, because I'm only talking about the Black community, most of us have not had sexual conversations
Yeah.
about being sexually fluid, and there is nothing wrong with that. Hell, one day I might be like, okay, I want a family, and you might find me up here with a girl. It can happen, right? Because it's not, sexuality is fluid, right? It can switch based on your experiences, what you want out of life, and it just can really happen. Now, I pray to God that I don't have these experiences where I just flip and be fluid, but it could happen. You
Right.
know, your taste and preferences change as you change and develop, and so I would date, like, I would give anybody a chance as long as they're open and honest. And even if your man or woman isn't bisexual, they will still cheat on you. So
Per.
the equation still ends up with your heart being broken,
Yeah.
regardless. But there's this emphasis on the sexual orientation that is just ridiculous. And I think people just really need to grow up and learn how to communicate.
So, speaking on, you mentioned transgender, should they disclose? And we have a video.
And so recently I posted a video saying, oh my God, this guy didn't know I was trans. And I got thousands of hate comments and death comments. Wow. And most of the comments that was commenting underneath my post was obviously transphobic or homophobic. And honestly, all you guys can go fuck yourself. Fuck my dick, bitch.
Okay, mom.
Woo-hoo. So do okay. I think that if no matter um what you identify as or how you feel that you should have been created, I think you should disclose. um it's like if I present myself as a candy apple but it's really an onion coated, I need to tell somebody that before they take a bite. And that's all I got.
Hmm. Okay. So there are a number of things other than the commentary, right? So in this particular thing, I think Homegirl was definitely going for clout,
Yeah.
doing these things for likes. Most likely, this guy knows that he's with transgender. You can't. I know that I've heard stories of transgender folks hiding their body parts and having things where folks don't know, and I still can't process that. But that's the story they've shared, and we're gonna stick with that.
I've seen some.
And for me, I feel like I have this ability to what they call clockable, right? So you can clock people whether they're gay, they straight,
Yeah.
or if they're transgender, right? And that's just a thing. However, the seriousness of this, right? I believe in people having choices. So if this woman actually tricked, it's like trapping a man with a child. To me, it's the same thing, right? There's a lack of dishonesty there, And if this is a person that you see you're going down a road where it could be establishing that a real relationship, then I think you owe the other person honesty. Okay. Um, Now you don't have the right to know somebody's business just because you walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's up, mama? How you doing?"
True.
Right? You were attracted to what you saw. Okay, they ain't got nothing to do with her. Okay, you
Right.
saw me. I'm out minding my business. You approached me. We keep talking. Blah 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 blah. I ain't got to tell you nothing. Right? I'm still not at a point of disclosing my secret. All right. Um, so they don't owe you anything there. We might even go out on a date, and I don't owe you nothing, right? Because if you look at the news, trans people have been attacked and killed violently. Every year, there's such a high number of these deaths,
Right.
and I think the other side of it, my brother has made a comment here. You're flirting with death by not disclosing to a straight man. You know what I think about that mentality is that there's this hyper masculinity at play where the manhood, it feels like, oh, I'm not a man, or somebody's gonna know I was out here with a dude that look like a chick, and it gets them scary and riled up. And I think again, if you got children, you have men, especially black men, who don't know how to accept rejection or how to even process their emotions. What do
Right.
you do when you find yourself attracted to something that's not what you thought it was? Who you don't focus
Right.
on the other person.
Right. So I agree 100%. And I think I don't know what the win is for someone that's transgender. Because it's like, you don't know what that reaction is going to be when you finally do disclose. You don't know if you're going to remain safe. You don't know, it's always the possibility of not being accepted, which is one thing, but to know like my life could end after disclosing this. But I do think that there should be some level of disclosure before we start getting intimate,
Yeah.
or having very intimate moments. Um, because that could, where someone who is straight, you know, maybe getting aroused is one thing, but actually caressing you and having you put your mouth on me and, giving me head, possibly, that could make someone like, go into a full rage. And
But
so I don't know what the win. I don't know what the win is. I know that you're not responsible for that, but because we know that these things do happen, and people do, or so, mainly men lack the ability to control their rage or their anger, even when it needs to be directed at themselves. It's like, for the level of precaution to protect yourself, like what's the win? I don't know the answer to that. That's not my walk. I don't have to experience that.
yeah, because it's like sharing, it's almost like sharing, giving somebody your social, giving the key to your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I like, I get both sides of it. And we can definitely, I know plenty of trans people who can probably share their perspective. And again, it's going to be different for each person,
Right.
But on the outside, for me, I don't have an issue with transgender people. If I'm attracted to someone who's transgender, then that's just kind of what it is. But I'm secure enough that if I like you, I like you.
Right.
In the black community, if I like you and you look like a woman, but you happen to be a man, then my mind is jumbled up, but I still like you. I just don't like what people might say. And I think that is, to me, that's where the paths cross, is that people, if you've been a person and you've experienced something like, let's say you got syphilis, right? So you, on the first date, I've seen profiles on the internet was like, yeah, I have syphilis, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And because they don't want people to get too far down the road and they think they found a sexual match, and then they got to say, oh, I got syphilis, and they be like, well, I'm about to head out.
Yeah.
It's just so many different ways to approach it. We have our viewers who are commenting. I love for some of y'all to join us to talk it through with us. But we're getting comments. Jaquel is saying that should definitely be disclosed before a date. Ashley is saying that no one wants to feel deceived, though. As a human, I would be pissed if I bit into an onion thinking that it was a sweet, yummy apple. When is the right time to disclose? It seems like at any point it's dangerous for the trans community. Exactly. It's you just don't know. It's just like being a black person in America. You don't ever know when your life is going to be in danger. And so what do? You do things or find ways to protect yourself until you know it's safe to be who you are. I definitely would love to invite some trans folks to have that conversation but again, let me just say this, right? Again, we're in another space where we are trying to figure out something about something that don't have nothing to do with us, unless you're interested in trans people.
Right. So I will say that one of the things that I do like about the world that we live in now, especially when it comes to people in the trans community and people who live with STIs that are incurable, that you have the ability to put this before the conversation without immediate harm or danger. And that person, whomever, who's swiping across you, they're able to see that information and decide whether or not up front that this is what I'm interested in, this is not what I'm interested in. And having had friends or having friends that do have incurable STIs. So because I don't know a transgender person, but even having those conversations of disclosing in first conversations, but when the conversations start getting sexual, hey, this is what's going on. Is that okay? And then going through the emotions of wondering if the person's going to call you back, or wondering if they're going to cuss you out, or so having to go through those things with some of my friends that have those situations going on, I'm able to see or experience those things secondhand. But I do know, it could be very different in terms of being transgender. So yeah, if you guys know somebody that's transgender who would like to further this discussion with us on this platform, please send them our link or send us their name so we can reach out and have these educated discussions around the trans community and what it's like having to choose when you need to disclose and how you determine the level or precautions of safety that need to be in place for you.
And the thing about it is that the person, the safety part comes in with the other person.
Right.
For really, right? Because even if I told you the minute you asked to buy me a drink at the bar, if you are not clear about who you are, or you feel like you've been tricked,
yeah,
you might be in a corner steaming the whole night, right? And it's not just transgender people, right? Just regular black women.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I can't even imagine the level of horror, because sometimes we we full out bitches just for saying no thank you. You fuck you, bitch. You ain't you like, I think I need to call somebody, because I can't even imagine. Yeah.
And you just add that on top of the disrespect for black women, and then you feeling like you're not getting what you thought you were getting, and how that messes with a person. And if they boys saw it, and then like, it's just so many things, But I have dropped the link in the chat. It's called should transgender people disclose to sexual partners? And there are lots of things on the internet where you can hear directly from trans people. I think YouTube Originals just put out this thing with some influencers who are living with HIV, some who are trans, gay, straight, whatever, and they start talking about those experiences. Another one I think you should watch, it's a really good reality show. It's called Becoming Caitlyn Jenner. And so you can see the dichotomies and the differences in the world of transgender people, it exists just like it does in your own family.
Yeah.
Because we're not a monolith and our needs are different, our access to healthcare, finances, our level of education, like all these things kind of stack up to how we respond to these things. So it's a long conversation. But my number one thing is that you have to do some self work to make sure that you are clear about who you are, what you like, and when you find out that you're attracted to something that you didn't know you were attracted to, I don't think you were tricked. I think you may need to do some hard work, but I know that that's not the response that people have. So it's lots of work to be done and helping people be safe out here in these streets.
Okay. All right, guys. So as we move forward in this discussion, so I want to talk about just real. Let's go to another side of the world. Imagine, well, can you put in the comments what is something petty or the highest level of petty that an ex has done to you after you have broken up? So there was a story that was on Shade Room where this lady, she posted and she said she was at work talking to a coworker. They was kikiing, laughing it up, and she was checking her laptop, and the company had sent out an announcement that a coworker had passed away, and the coworker was him. And so she was like, "Do you know they killed you?" And he was like, so he called HR. So as it turns out, the ex called the company and told HR that the man had passed away. Now, I don't know how they validated his death, if they just took his word, it was his mom, or if she's, created some type of fake documentation. But he had to straighten out that he was very much alive and well, and was clocked in on the clock. But the lady had called the job and said, Terry is dead. And they sent out a whole announcement to the entire company. Freely, I saw your eyes.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
So I'm gonna tell you a story.
What's wrong with y'all?
That story immediately reminded me of a time I went back home. I went to a football game. It was several years ago. And I was standing in the crowd trying to walk to the stands. And this lady walked up to this man, and I'm making up his name. She's like, "James, I thought you was dead. They said you died." And he was like, "What?" That is crazy. Yes. Yeah. Imagine somebody coming, "For really? I thought you was gone."
If I leave the world, everybody gonna know. This is kind of how that works. We're gonna make sure it's a big announcement. But I don't know, like that whole, I don't get y'all. If the relationship don't work out,
men do petty stuff too.
Not women, but y'all people who do this petty stuff, right? Just let it go.
Yeah, no.
That you're not together no more, and it may make you feel good to go drive by their house, sit outside their house, talk to their friends.
You done lower down the window.
Like, let me see what's going on.
Taking pictures and stuff.
Texting, where you at? Like, what are you doing? We have broken up. Like,
you are going to jail. You are going to jail.
Like, what the what? What is this about? It's really like it's giving stalker crazy you from Netflix vibes. It's just what is going on? And I can't even say trust black women, shout out to the brand, because y'all here doing dumb shit. Because like, why? Like, why would you put, I've heard women, like, let's put some blood in his spaghetti. Let's put something under the bed so he don't walk out your life. Like, y'all be so dead set to hold on to niggas that y'all be willing to do voodoo and hoodoo. And I don't get it. Like, sometimes you gotta let that sorry ass nigga go. For your peace.
I would say this about this whole spaghetti thing, because I've seen men over the years on these social media internet streets make comments about, if she making spaghetti, don't eat it, blah, blah, blah. And I just really want to say, half of y'all niggas is not worth the pad squeeze sometimes, sometimes spaghetti. Let me tell y'all, spaghetti is the cheapest, fastest, easiest thing to throw together. Sprinkle some cheese on it, throw it in the oven, and y'all full. That's what it boils down to. Nobody is worrying about y'all that deep that we got to go squeeze pads and tampons to keep you. It's just not. Actually, you was not helping me right now.
Y'all be really like, I don't be understanding the. I be like, it's after you done did it, um, in the bathroom, both of your body dripping wet on the patio, making a night you'll never forget on the
On the
kitchen
kitchen
floor
floor.
as I softly pull your hair. Like, don't get infatuated with the D. It's just there are plenty out here, and you can now buy them in the store.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh, that's not the same. And we don't even need to unpack that conversation because though the ones you buy at the store are really not the same.
Well, honey, you got to spend a little money, and it'll be. They got some ones that they never stop. They never give up.
It's not about that for me. For me, it's not just about the two. Like I need that. Like I need to feel your hips moving. I need to. It just ain't the same. It's not
Let
the
me tell
same.
you. Let me tell you where it's the same for me.
Thank you. It is not the same. It's not the same. It is
Maybe
just.
for y'all, but for me in my house,
As for me in my house, baby, I need a real body. Okay, I need a real body.
it's too much work. Unless you have a consistent friends with benefits, and y'all here, and y'all know when the phone ring, this is what we gotta do.
Yes,
Having to find a sexual partner is draining.
it is.
It's
But
very
it's when
draining.
you get one, baby.
You got to keep them, even if they toxic. You got to hold on to them and don't let go. Okay. Okay.
Ooh, bitch. Okay, moving right on.
Oh yes, my God, my God,
Guys, imagine logging in for your Zoom meeting at work and being told that your ass was let go. So this happened this week at better.com, which is a company that does mortgage lending. So the CEO had a Zoom for 900 employees where he let all their asses go because they were not being productive and only working 1 to 2 or 5 hours a day. And so he got on the Zoom, was like, y'all ain't gonna like this news, but it's your last day, and we're gonna give y'all 4 weeks of pay and 3 months of benefits. Bye. And that was it.
and the dude didn't even wait for everybody to get on the Zoom.
No, did not.
If
Now
you
he has
wait,
since issued an apology to the remaining employees, saying that the way he delivered it probably wasn't the best and it affected them. But he ain't say nothing to the people he let go.
but the
He
Negro,
wouldn't.
he has a history of doing dumb stuff like this.
Oh,
Like,
so I didn't know that.
I would like he's just a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But one of the guys that was in the article, he got promoted, right? And now you're telling me that I'm doing a terrible job. Like, it's just weird. But because the problem is that I think they're going public,
Yeah.
and they just got this huge round of investors. I'm trying to figure out, like, why are they? And I think Better.com is that the mortgage industry.
Yeah. Mortgage lending.
So they got a lot of cash, but they really don't, right? So getting rid of them 9,000 people, I don't know
Now,
what they're gonna do.
yeah.
900, that's a lot. I just need 10 people in my business.
Yeah. So I want to take y'all back to the years maybe like '03 to '07 when the millennials was really up in the club in business casual wear. That
Baby,
has been trending this week where we were wearing blazers, ties, bow ties, suit
I
vests,
didn't know I was transgender.
just all kind of things. And we was all in a number because there was a point where blazers were an essential part of the wardrobe during that gap in time. Bow ties, neckties, um the plastic jewelry really had a hold on us women. where your eyeshadow matched your earrings, your necklace, your belt, your, your bracelet, and we wore the necklaces that came all the way down to your belly button. For really, are you looking for it? And so that took me all the way back. I was dying laughing because I remembered wearing blazers. Actually, I was wearing a mask. It was like yeah, like 03.
That was actually your classic, your standard look.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yes, a blazer with a camisole with a little lace rufflage on it, a belt. Oh, baby, you was in there. Ashley, you got some pictures to share?
She do. Ashley had them too. I remember that. Where was it? That was this week, right?
Yeah, it was this week. Actually, I have it in my let me share because I have it. Now, I'm not gonna be able to be fancy like for really.
If you send it to me, I can pull it up. But I thought it was in your story.
I did share it to my stories. I did. But it's probably gone by now. But that was the time. Actually, I can hear you over there looking for that picture, girl. Put it in the comments.
I got it.
Okay. Honey, that was the club look. And this is also the era where the tights leggings came back into play, and they have not left yet. Don't say a goddamn thing for really and keep going. Just go to the next picture.
All right, next photo.
Yes, oh, with the push-up bra and the multi necklaces. Yes. Straight from what was the what was that? And baby boy, he was like, go straight from work to happy hour. Yeah. We was oh yeah, this had a hold on y'all. All this had a hold on y'all.
Bruh. Like you look back and be like, I really thought I was fucking it up.
Yeah, you was.
Oh, y'all love. What was it, y'all, in these belts?
The belt, the big belts, and the big bag. It was there, baby.
She in a dorm.
The tube dress. Yes, we were in there. And wedges was in. Wedges were in.
The tie with the vest, honey. Baby, hot mess.
At the club, big ass jeans.
Not throwing a bow tie, honey. You throwing a bow tie, it's official.
Ooh. Oh yeah, bow tie. You ready?
Now, I am
saved. To the club, yes.
I am saved, and I had fashion sense, and I never went to the club. But I wasn't dressed like this. I was dressing like I was in Abercrombie and Fitch. That was I had shells. You had the Sperry's.
Oh yeah, that was also during that era though. The Sperry shoes with the
shell. Niggas ain't even been on a boat, right?
I don't even know the name of a boat.
Don't even ain't been on a boat. You got boat shoes on the land, right? This is the one.
Yes, that looks like we about to go and hit up whatever the club was, and we about to go in there and get some ladies.
Yes, I was definitely never closely related to anything urban. I just started wearing urban clothes in the last 10 years.
This smells like 99 bananas.
Oh, baby.
All the bad liquor. All the bad liquor you could think of. What was the other one? Burnett's. Burnett's was a college classic.
Now, this Kanye, this how you know. He got on a tuxedo
jacket with a t-shirt.
Like it was the worst. Look how much ruffle is in these jeans.
Yes, baggy jeans and the church shoes. Y'all was in there.
I hate these shoes. I hate them.
I'm surprised they didn't have any with the women with the wedge heels. Wedge heels were the thing at that time. I hate a wedged heel.
Now I did wear an oversized sweater.
I call them the auntie sweaters.
I finally gave those away, but I love the good Old Navy sweater,
Oh,
oversized,
Old Navy had a hold on us.
honey, because you could get.
Yes, them sweaters. Old Navy had a hold over our lives.
Listen, it was a deathly hold, honey. It was a hold, honey. Let us go. Let go and let God, honey.
So moving right along, in sad news this week, Nick Cannon made the announcement that his youngest child, Zen Cannon, passed away on Sunday. He had a form of cancer that they discovered a few months ago, and he peacefully passed away. It was a very emotional show. Where he's very choked up. I can't imagine having the death of a child. So our thoughts, our prayers are with Nick Cannon. As I'm sure he will continue to procreate, but you can never replace the child that you lost. So prayers out to him and his child's mother. I think her name is Alyssa. That was very sad news. Also happening this week. So as we know that the threat to overturn Roe v. Wade, or Roe versus Wade, which is the abortion bill, has been going on for many years. And as it's looking that is more likely to happen, the state of California has offered themselves up to be sort of a sanctuary for people looking to flee their areas to come to California to get their, you know, what they call when they say, oh, back in the day, girls that are in trouble, to come to get out of trouble in the state of California. So I don't have any direct judgment for people. I think it's your choice to whatever do with your body. I think even if it's for, you know, selfish reasons, all the, you know, do what you need to do for yourself in your life. But I do think once you start getting you know, team numbers up, you probably need to just seek help and counseling for that, unless it's, you know, extend, you know, that's all I got for real.
I mean, you over here struggling, girl. You can't even find the words.
Annie, that's all I got.
Oh, so just for some context, the Roe v. Wade, right, was about abortion and the rights of when a baby can be aborted and when it cannot. And so right now, they're, you know, that's in trouble. And so California is saying you can come here and have your abortions as long as you want. Okay. So I don't know. I think men should stay out of women's business. I do think that men have a choice if you know, it's really hard because a woman actually has to push the baby out. But I think a woman, if the father wants the child, you know, I think the woman should have the child and move on about her way. But I've never had a child, so I'm going to stay out of that. But that's just my thoughts. If I was in that situation, I would want, you know, you have the baby and you go about your business if you don't want nothing to do with it.
I do agree with that. So ironically, this week there was the conversation that happened on some show where they were in a relationship. The young woman got pregnant and he was aware that she was pregnant. She went and got an abortion. He was not aware that she got an abortion. He wanted the child. He wanted to keep the child. So he was definitely devastated and mourning the loss of this child that he thought was going to come forward. Um, it is a sticky situation when we start talking in terms of being the person that's actually carrying the child. But I think the same conversation that we have with men, that's that risk that you take when you're leaving certain things in control of somebody else when you choose to engage in behaviors that could get someone pregnant. I think on the flip side of that, we take that same chance as women when we engage in behaviors that can result in pregnancy. I think if the man has said, I want to keep my child, you know, there should be some documentation in place. But it does get sticky because you are carrying that child. Your life is at risk. Anything can happen, from gestational diabetes. You can have blood clots. You can die in birth. A numerous amount of things can happen during, you know, postpartum, during, anything can happen. And so I think that that side of it does get sticky, but it's just hard. It's a hard conversation. It always has been. I've known people to get abortions out of spite. You know, I'm mad at him this week, bump him. I'm gonna take care of this. And then he like, don't, what you doing? We got a baby. Oh, ain't no baby. And he like, wait, what you mean?
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
just be more responsible, not taking anything away from anybody who is in a situation where they did not have a choice. Um, totally not speaking to you. But in these situations where we are making choices that result in consequences, let's just make better decisions about who we lay with, and how we choose to lay with them, as we may get results that we may not want. So like Snoop Dogg used to say, ain't no living good enough to get burnt while I'm up in it. It's definitely not good enough to get pregnant while you're up in it. And then you cannot take care of this responsibility.
And if you had bought your D from the store, you wouldn't be
Store D does not get you pregnant.
might give you a little bacteria infection.
Neither does a little pancake pussy. Does not get pregnant.
If you don't clean it, you might have a little, situation, but they say wear a condom, pulling out doesn't always work. It only takes a little bit. It only takes
just
one
a little
time.
bit. Just a little bit.
And you get pregnant on the first time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works.
This is true. So I want to close on a good story. So I don't know if you guys have been following, but I'm a little bit invested in the story. So a few years ago, this viral story happened where this young man, no, this older lady sent a text message and letting the family know when Thanksgiving was going to be, and it went to this guy that was in this black man that was in college, and he was like, wrong number. They created a relationship from there, and it's been this ongoing tradition where every year he has joined this family for Thanksgiving. So much so to the point that now I think he's engaged or married, and his significant other now joins him every Thanksgiving. I think the husband of the situation, or the grandfather, he passed away last year, and so that has happened. But Netflix is now turning this into a movie, and I am a little excited to see it. So I am a little excited to see it. It's just like a little Hallmark special, little Lifetime movie, little feel good.
You would be looking forward to that.
I am. I am though. So you don't care for Ellen? You don't care about the
No.
Okay.
In real life, seeing it in real life, so I'm just like, yeah.
I know, it's just like a little feel good story. So, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So, Forelli was at my house last week for my birthday, and we started talking about certain episodes of TV and time that evoke certain emotions. And the classic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode where Will Smith's father comes back into his life very temporarily, and he gets all excited, and then he leaves, and there's that classic scene between him and Uncle Phil. And so we're watching TV already. I'm like, let's watch it. And me, as I become more mature in life, my emotions tend to pour out. So we're watching it, and Forelli's on the other side of the couch, like the cold-blooded bitch that he is right now. He's not even paying attention, and I am over there like.
I mean, eyes swell up, glassy.
And he shined the light on me. He was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "You cold-blooded bitch."
Well, that's because I had listened to it earlier that day, and I had already cried. But we already knew. She said, "Let's watch it," and I'm like, "Is she crying for real?" Like,
yes, I told you, it does it to me every time. I know it's coming. I know the words verbatim, but something about it was a raw emotion, and it just came through the screen. That was really good acting, and it was just like it gets me every time. Every time.
It was good. You know, I couldn't cry because I was really just shocked that she was crying.
But you had already cried earlier, which I didn't know.
Yeah, when I was riding, I was like, I told that's how we got on the subject. I was like,
Yes.
I was listening to the book and they played the clip as a part of the audiobook and not even watching it, but listening to it. I was just, I
You
was down the road.
felt it.
I was
You
just like, ugh.
you felt it. Oh, so guys, so Furley has been listening to the audiobook of Will Smith's book. I think it's self-titled Will.
Yep.
Please listen to it. I haven't yet, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's a lot of good life nuggets in that book. So that's all I have for this week.
All right, y'all. Y'all stay up. Be blessed.
Don't be stressed. Like, follow us, subscribe, share us on all social media platforms. And as always, join us back here next Thursday, same time, same place. We will be here again with more topics to discuss and share with you guys. And don't be afraid, again, to jump in and talk with us and share your thoughts, comments with us as we go through these nights. We love sharing these moments with you, and we can't wait to see you next week. As always, we probably right because we are the last of the millennials. Good night.
Peace out.